Hello, this is Sam, and we're talking about project management, and we're discussing the second topic, which is on life cycle. Projects have a life cycle, right? How do you manage a life cycle of a project? That's the topic. And friends, the biggest challenge is that when you start a project, right, and then as the project goes up, and then it achieves the goal, and then it kind of tapers off, right? So from the start to the growth of the project, there are different requirements, and as the project goals are being achieved, let's say you're creating the deliverables here, and then you start to close out. At every phase there's a different need. So we as a project manager has to understand that where are we in the project and what does it take. So for example, here you're starting, so you need less money, right? Less resources, but a lot of thought, idea, a lot of stakeholder engagement involvement here, right? Sponsor, what do they want? What is the charter of the project? This is where you create the charter. And then here you start your planning. And your plan is ready as to what you're doing. And then you start executing the project or putting things into action. When you put things into action, you start getting the goals, right? The goal is to achieve a deliverable or a product. Once you achieve that, you say, okay, you kind of close out and you say, okay, let's learn lessons from what we did, lessons learned, archiving, and then closing. If you have any contracts, you close that first before you close out the phase, or you move from one phase to the other. So that is how, friends, the project works. You start, initiate the project here, then you plan a project, you execute the project, you keep checking, monitoring and controlling that how the project is going on. Are you able to achieve your goals? Now, monitoring and controlling actually happens right here itself, so it's not just there, from the beginning till the end. And then once you achieve the goals, you close out. So these are the 5 process groups that we manage across the life cycle and different phases of the project. That's a little bit about the different life cycle stages of project. The second thing is about when you implement projects. What kind of structure are you in? Now, some structures really help in implementing projects, whereas some other structures don't. Now let's talk about those structures. What are those components? So typically all of us, most of us actually, not all, work in a functional structure. For example, we have a CEO of this Fortune 500 company, and he has senior VPs here, and then each one has their own hierarchy. Typically there might be like 13 stages or 15 levels. And then let's say if this is finance, this is HR, this is marketing, this is engineering, different business units or functions within an enterprise. Each will have their own setup. So imagine if somebody wants, this is a guy in HR, and this is a guy in IT, and the guy in HR is being asked to provide some resources. So it's not that simple that IT guy says, give me the people. This person has to go through this entire hierarchy to get people. So the problem here is that we get stuck with a lot of bureaucracy, and a lot of time is wasted. So this is actually very inefficient or relatively inefficient system of managing projects, because you just get lost into the bureaucracy of projects. So how do you take care of this, friends? The solution is that if you want to do projects faster and manage the life cycle efficiently, what you need to have is take out the key people from different places and create a cross-functional team here. Of course, which will be flat, not that bureaucratic here, because all these cross-functional members come together in this flat structure and help you implement the project faster. Right? And if this is a flat structure and the project manager has more control and complete control sometimes, then we call it a projectized structure. versus functional structure where project manager is virtually not in control of the project at all. He or she is actually a part-time person, doesn't have resources, doesn't have budget. It's just helping a functional manager implement project on part-time basis. Versus here in a projectized scenario, the project manager has their own hierarchy. They have a PM of PM, under them a PM, a junior PM, and they have full-time staff, they have resources, they have budget, they have everything. In between fence is a matrix structure, which is a mixture of functional and projectized. It is a weak matrix if it is closer to functional. It is a strong matrix if it is closer to a flat structure, and it's a balanced matrix if it is in between. So in strong matrix, the project manager is more powerful because they control the project budget and resources, and they have their own structure. And in a weak matrix, the functional manager controls the different. So these are different structures of organization or structure for project management. How do you implement project in different structures? So as a project manager, we need to understand. And lastly, I would like to talk to you about two things, friends. When you are implementing projects, do you think your records from your last project, that will help you? Sure, right? Your files, your records, your database, your project management information systems, all that help you, friends, and that actually is called as an organizational process asset. It is an asset because it is helping you, and it is stored in the organization in terms of a database or an archive, and that will help you in your current project. So you're building iPhone 5, iPhone 4 will actually help you. And lastly, when you implement projects, and this is your team, right? You are here and your team members are here. Do you think there are factors outside of the team that impact you? Let's say dollars, money, finance. Let's say HR, policies. Let's say on a bigger scale, the industry, the competition that you are in. Does that impact you? How about the political, social, economic systems? Do they impact us when we do projects? Of course, right? So this we call as enterprise environmental factors. Factors in the environment of an enterprise, or even outside of the enterprise at a political level, social level, economic level, that sometimes help us on projects, sometimes deter us from achieving our goals. So these are called as enterprise environmental factors. So that spends a high level view of taking care of the life cycle of a project when you're trying to manage a project.